Sorry, I just realised in the last video I made that I said April 1989 was meant to be April 1990. I'm just so exhausted. So if I say a year and you say no, you said it was 1989. No, it's just a mistake. Just please give me a break. Okay, it's late April now, 1990. So we're nearly 10 months without a week of sleep day or night. Here we go. I stayed with my auntie for the whole weekend. I must have been down Friday evening on the train. Oh yeah, something funny happened on the train because I hadn't been maybe no more than 20 or 30 pound on me at the time. I needed every penny I had because I knew I was homeless basically, and I needed to buy stuff with it, food and stuff like that. No, I just don't want to go into detail. I'm just tired. So I got on the train. Of course, there's people. I forget what you call the guys who train conductors. No, train people just check for tickets. I call them train conductors. Probably don't know. It's probably a different name for them. So obviously I hadn't got a ticket. So I kept moving down to each carriage, and eventually to the last one, and I went into the bathroom or the toilet, and of course I locked it. I was there, and then they started knocking at the door, so I'm using the toilet at the moment. But these guys would not give up. I was amazed at the persistence. Normally, they knock a few times. He's probably just using it, but they kept knocking. After 5 or 10 minutes, I had to come out. He said, well, obviously because I was in there for such a long time, I just said, no, I was just using the bathroom. He said, have you got your ticket? And of course I pretended I couldn't find it. I said, I must have dropped it. And the carriage went looking, walking down. And eventually I said, I must have lost it. This didn't cut no ice for these guys. They said, you're going to have to pay for the ticket. I said, I don't have any money. Okay, they called the guards. I remember getting off the station in Arklow, and the guards were there. Look, the guards said to me, look, just pay for the ticket, and we let it go. And I think it was, might be wrong, I think it was about £10. That would have been for a return. Now it could be more, it could be less. People are going to say, well, it was 15 or 14. I just don't know exactly. It was around £10 or £12 at the time for a return ticket at the time, so I paid it anyway. Got back on, got down to me auntie's, went into me auntie's. I wasn't exactly welcomed there because I think she knew how. I mentioned earlier I was abusive towards my sister, and I think she knew about that. I was there, but she wasn't happy. I used to have to try. She used to smoke a lot, so I used to buy her cigarettes to just, to say thanks for keeping me there. I'd walk down and buy her cigarettes, but I used to buy myself a few ice pops, stuff like that. That's about it, really. And I remember watching the snooker championship with my auntie and your uncle. We went up to some pub or something, and my auntie embarrassed me when I mentioned I'd have a pint of alcohol. That's my auntie first. She started shouting. That was very embarrassing. I said nothing then. And oh yeah, the day I was leaving, must have been Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was. My auntie, I said to my auntie, I'm going to have to make a phone call. This is the guy who was telling me about health for homeless people. So I was planning to go up to the local phone box to make the phone call, and somehow she told my uncle about it. My uncle, I heard about my uncle. I'd never met him before, that he was a terrible miser, and it was true. So for some reason, my uncle came in. He started lecturing me on economics, and this lasted. I'm telling you now, you might say I'm exaggerating. It must have been at least 10 minutes. I was just sitting there like this, said nothing, and eventually, after about 10 minutes, he stopped. I was going to say, but I didn't say it at the time. Look, I was going to pay for it. First of all, I wanted to go up to the phone box, and if I had been using your phone, I would have paid you for it, and you would have made a tidy profit, because I think a phone call at the time was 20p a minute or something, maybe a bit more. And I was willing to give you up to £1 for that, or it could have been 50p at the time because it was outside the Dublin area. I was willing to give you twice or three times what you would have got anyway, but I never said that to him, of course. He was so rude. So I left, I went up anyway, made my phone call, got in contact with a friend. I said, I'm going to be going up in the train today or whatever, and I might meet you there. Or was the day after, and I met him. So there's an example where you're down on your luck, you have no money, you're homeless, you're ill, you get a lecture on economics for 10 minutes over a miserable phone call that you didn't even want in the first place, and if you had it, you would have paid a lot more than you would have cost. There you go, you can't. So I went to the train station, the other auntie. I was going to ask her could I stay from her place, but I shouldn't have to. She never asked anyway. Got on the train, got back. I met your man that day or the next day. I told him I was still homeless. He said, "We look at you're going to have to lick ass." Sorry about the language. To get back into Dublin somewhere to get a hostel. At the moment, I said, "Okay, I'll try and do that," and I did do that. So I got into a hostel, but the hostel was actually mixed one time. It's very embarrassing. Like, I've never experienced that before. Where usually most hostels, to keep the male, you know, the male, what do you call people, male hostels. This wasn't a hostel as such for homeless. It was just a hostel for anybody, like for holiday makers. Usually you keep them segregated. You know, women on one side, men on another. You know, because you can't. But I was mixed. But oh yeah, I had gotten a job around the same time. I got lucky. I was actually homeless for a few days in my own place where I came from. I used to be walking around in the woods and fields because I couldn't sleep, and I'd get terrible thirsty by the morning. That was obviously the killer. And eventually I walked into a building site, and with just about one of the rare lucky breaks I got, I asked the foreman there, I said, "Is there any work going at the moment?" He said, "Yeah, there is. We're looking for a nipper." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Can I, when can I get there?" I forget what he said. It was either the next day or the following day. I said, "That's great, I'll take the job straight away." He said, "That's great." So that was brilliant. And I rang your man that I told you about, and I told him, I said, "I just got a job." He said, "Wow, that's amazing, that's brilliant," he said to me. I said, "Yeah, hopefully everything will be okay." So I was staying in this hostel for a few weeks. I didn't enjoy there, not necessarily because it was mixed, because it was one of the guys who was supposed to be, I don't know what you call him, I can't tell people that run the hostels. He didn't like, because I was so, my appearance was ragged. I had very dirty clothes, and of course my hair was all dirty and greasy. Well, I never combed it around because it was, as I told you, my hair would fall out, so I looked wretched. And I probably had a kind of a beard on my face, even though I was only 16, because I didn't shave. So I'm going to continue on from, this is around May, early May 1990, where I get my first proper job. God bless. Thank you, everybody.